You are listening to or watching What's the Tea? My name is Lydia.
My name's Andy.
And we are two former support workers catching up over a cuppa. We say this, it's the summer, we've got cold drinks. And we talk all things adulting life, how to navigate it. And it's because we're not experts, but sometimes when we were support workers, we shocked ourselves, and I actually gave some good advice. And we just fumble through life with you.
And on that note, you might get that same sort of feeling from today's podcast, where we're not 100% sure how it's going to pan out, where we're going. Well, we kind of know where we're going. We know the journey. We don't 100% know what the destination is yet.
Yeah.
We are going to concentrate a little bit, continuing on Lydia's kind of themes and ideas.
Yeah. Shall I share how I got this idea? So,
go for it.
if you watched our last episode, you will be very much aware of the topic that we covered, which was bystander effect and violence against women and girls. If you haven't watched it and you think, oh, that sounds interesting, then please do pause this and go give it a listen.
That's the other side of the coin to this.
Yeah.
episode.
So, and then I just thought, well, we've talked about, a big issue impacting women and girls. I wanted to highlight and have an opportunity to highlight something that impacts men, and something that I am passionate about, because when being a support worker, I kind of saw the effects of this more so in the sense of what it means to be a man, masculinity, men's mental health, all of that. Because I found that how I supported the males in our project was very different to how Chris, Jeremy, or even Andy, when Andy was a support worker, supported men. And it wasn't because they were, a lesser support worker or I was better or anything like that. But it was just that men felt, and the males felt, I think, more comfortable talking to me as a woman about the vulnerabilities and the issues that they were facing than another male. And that wasn't because Andy, Chris, or Jeremy came across judgmental or anything like that. It was just to do with, I think, things that have happened, messages that are given to men about masculinity, survival of the fittest, all of that jazz. That meant that they felt more comfortable talking to me about things. And when I say comfortable, it wasn't like all the men revealed all of their difficulties and they were like, oh, this is so easy to support because they're telling me everything. Even talking to me, they struggled, and I had to pry that information out of them, which I think I was able to do easier than if it was a male support worker. And I was just very much like asking the questions, why? And I also thought it would change as time goes on. I've been working at the Y nearly 10 years. Andy, longer.
14.
14?
14.
So 15 next year.
It'll be 15 next year.
And I thought, oh, we're going to get younger people in. Like, we're getting 18-year-olds now in our projects. And I thought times have changed so much that that's not going to be an issue.
On that note, when I first completed someone's date of birth has been after the year 2000, completely threw me.
I've got a younger sister, so that wasn't the thing. It was more about when I think it got to, was it like 2000? What would it have been? What were you year in? 2026. It was 2010. I was talking to a 16-year-old. That's right, 2010, 2026.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they said 2010, and I
no.
What?
No, really? They were born in 2010.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm so old.
I know. I had to double take. But anyway, we digress. And I thought, as we were getting younger people through, specifically men, I thought we were going to see an improvement in terms of how men view themselves, masculinity, all of that jazz, because it's been quite heavy conversations.
So maybe not as much of an improvement, but a kind of more positive uplift.
That's what I meant. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. And in terms of like that being less of a hindrance in their support and in their mental health. Do you know what I mean? And I found that it was still a hurdle that males were going through And I was surprised by that, because we still, there's a lot of stuff about men's mental health.
And it's like, in general,
What's healthy
society, we
masculinity?
talk about mental health, don't we?
Yeah.
And we generally talk about how it's good to be open with your feelings.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'm not sure if I do that too well. We'll move on to that.
But you're a lot older.
Yeah.
Sorry, just to make you feel bad. You're a lot older.
For a second time in the same podcast.
You're a lot older.
Okay.
No, but I in terms of, there is an age difference between me and Andy. You can guess how old the age gap when I say this. But my generation and younger are very more aware of some of the issues our society faces from generations older than us. So in terms of, how to regulate our emotions, like therapy, mental health, all of these things. And I do know from like social media, talking to my male friends, all of these things about what it means to be like the positives, teachings of masculinity and things like that. I thought I'd start to see the improved effects of that in terms of men finding it easier to talk about things, men being, I guess, less hard on themselves. But I'm not.
And you've not seen that? No.
I haven't seen as vast of an improvement as I thought I would. And because of that, I was like, actually, let's see why. And obviously I did a survey for women in the organisation. I did a survey for men, which we'll talk about later, about this topic.
Okay. So is this my story time?
You tell us a story if you want to.
Story time. So when we were talking about kind of doing this as a subject, maybe about a month and a half, 2 months ago, I was having a chat with a friend a couple weeks back, and I was talking about, so if you see the last set of episodes, there's lots of kind of sickness, there's lots of kind of ill health.
When you say last set of episodes, you mean last season? Last season,
yeah.
Okay.
And I was kind of talking a bit about that and a bit about how I was doing, and how as one of the kind of checkups I've had is to kind of monitor my blood pressure. So I was kind of told to go away, buy a blood pressure monitor from Amazon. I did all that sort of stuff because, felt like a sensible thing to do. So I kind of put on the cuff. I kind of read the instructions nicely, and I did everything I was meant to do, right? And got it going. I was like, all right, that's a bit high. All right, whatever. And I kind of noted that down. And then the next morning, I kind of did the same sort of thing. I was like, oh yeah, that is quite high actually. Double check on ChatGPT what sort of results I should be getting. The sort of advice I was getting back was, this is not high blood pressure. You are basically dead.
Sorry, it's not funny, but
You're
it's just
basically dead. And
so it was so high that ChatGPT was just like, health, like life alert.
You should talk to someone about this,
like urgently.
And so I was like, you know what? I'm seeing someone on Wednesday. I'm seeing someone in like 3 days' time. I'm fine. I'm like, I'll be fine. I'll be all right. They start making plans work-wise. So when I go to my medical appointment on the Wednesday morning, if they take one look at me and send me straight to hospital, crazy things aren't happening work-wise for some bizarre reason.
But you still didn't seek urgent medical attention.
I didn't say a word to anyone.
No.
Until the day before.
Today was the first time I heard of it.
Until the day before.
Your appointment.
My appointment. Where I kind of casually mentioned it to my wife. And she's like, come here, let's have a go.
So did she think you, in terms of that response, did she think you were being dramatic?
I downplayed what I was thinking at the time.
Okay, so how did you downplay it?
I was like, yeah, it seems to be really high. I mean, I'm sure I'm doing it okay, but it just seems to be a bit higher, really.
So you were blaming potentially human error?
Oh, yeah, okay. Certainly. And she was like, come here. And then at that point, I was like looking at results going, okay, oh, I'm not dying. I mean, I'm not great. I'm not dead, though. Oh, that's good, isn't it?
Did you say this to your wife?
What did you say to your wife about this? I have explained this to my wife since that
All
point.
right.
And so when I was talking to my friend about this, he kind of looks at me and he was like, so you spent a good couple of days thinking you were dying and you didn't tell your wife. That's probably the most manly thing I've heard you say. And it's like, yeah, thanks. Great. Probably.
I'm confused. Why is it manly? Because that sounds like it's to be celebrated.
I imagine it's something like you think you're dying and you're trying to handle it by yourself.
Okay. So this is interesting because when I heard that's the most manly thing I've ever, that sounded like a praise to me, being like, you're so manly.
I mean, I think it's more kind of
being
funny.
Manly.
I think it's more of a funny observation.
Yeah, but also I guess it begs the question again, when someone says, oh, you're so manly. Like, don't you think but don't you think that sounds positive? Like a celebration?
There is a positiveness.
See, now the difference is I'd be like, that's a typical male thing to do.
A classic, here's your man card back.
Yeah, I would say that's like a typical male thing or a classic male. But saying that, so
you kind of keep your health concerns to yourself. I mean, there is advertising out there kind of saying not to do that.
Not to keep it to yourself. Sorry, I think I meant not to tell people. That took me a while.
Yeah.
But sorry, I've just like had like not a light bulb moment, but a bit where I'm like, oh, okay, let's talk about this. So, but don't you agree though? Because you're a man.
Yes.
I'm not.
Yes.
As a woman, being like that's such a manly thing. In my mind, that sounds like a praise.
Oh yeah, totally. It was very much kind of.
Okay.
It's very much. Finally, you've done something manly. Well done.
So I think it just brings into question, like before we go into like, language is important. I think.
Yeah.
And how things are communicated to men or anyone. Yeah. So you kept. Yeah, I was fuming when Andy told me today. I was like, sorry, you thought you were dying? Like we talk every day pretty much on WhatsApp. Me, you, and Chris. Did Chris know?
No.
Okay, that makes me feel a bit better. But no, but like we talk pretty much every day. It's mostly nonsense sometimes, most of the time. But you didn't say anything.
Okay, you heard the bit where I said I didn't say anything to my wife.
Yeah, but sometimes you don't. I get that. My dad does the same. He doesn't tell my mum things because he doesn't want to worry her.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think typically,
yes, okay, yeah.
Us women tend to worry a little bit more.
Yes,
not necessarily, but worry. Yeah, I was fuming. I can imagine. What did your wife's response when she found out you'd been like going on about this, like worrying about this for like days without telling her? What was this one?
I'm going to try and put it in as a noise. Really?
Yeah. Let's pray for Andy's wife, guys. But why? Can I ask you? Because I'm curious about it. Because Are
you going to ask me why I walked around for few-ish days?
Can I just say, any residents that had Andy as a support worker, what do you think his advice would be to you?
Oh, don't say that.
What advice do you think you'd give a young person who just goes, for the last few days I've been a little bit worried?
Maybe you should get yourself checked out.
Okay, or say something to someone, yeah?
Yeah.
So why didn't you follow your advice that you give to other people, Andy?
I think we're picking at the whole concept of us not being very good at accents.
Yeah, to be fair, we don't take our own advice. But I'm curious as to why you didn't say anything. Why you were like, because that's like for me, that if you think you're dying, that's pretty worrying.
It was a little bit. I had
was it
a little.
That you...
I had a little. Yeah. It was definitely something I decided.
Yeah.
I think it was a combination of not wanting to worry people, not wanting to make a big thing out of it, not wanting people to panic. I was very aware I had been off for the best part of a month, fairly recently as well.
Yeah, that's just, sorry, you just made me remind me of another thing. When you couldn't breathe. So Andy couldn't breathe, essentially.
Welcome to therapy.
Yeah. Does this feel like some... No, but when you couldn't breathe either, you told your wife and she was like, I think we need to call 111, and you didn't say... You were very blasé about it.
No, I was. I was like, all right then.
No, but I mean, you were blasé in terms of, I'm struggling to, like, it hurts my breathe.
Yeah. I
Not about going to the hospital. I mean, like, as in before.
Yeah, I think I was. Yeah, again, trying not to make a big thing out of it. I think in that occasion, I had something similar. This does not sound great in any way, shape, or form. And that similar thing kind of worked itself out. And so therefore, when I went during the time that escalated to me going into hospital, I thought to start with it was going to be exactly the same. And yeah, that just led on to all sorts of fun and games.
Okay. It's, I'm just finding it fascinating.
But yeah,
because
I didn't want to make a big deal out of it, I think. And yeah, I was like, all right, let's try and do this in a controlled way.
Like you manage it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I think that sometimes that is a thing with us guys, and that actually,
we 100%
do like to manage.
Yeah.
We have this little corner of the planet where actually it is our choice right now what we do, and we're gonna try and choose to be. We're gonna try and carry, and we're gonna try and take care. We're gonna try and actually.
Interestingly, yeah, because you talking about that story just reminded me of something that I witnessed with my dad. And in terms of, so he was made redundant, and it was quite a shock really, because he'd worked for the company, he'd worked his way out from the mail room all the way up to quite a high position, and for years, like as long as I was alive, he'd worked there, and I was like, I think 20, no, maybe 9. No, I was 19 when he got made redundant. So that's 19, even plus years, maybe 25 years to work for someone and be made redundant. Quite common, but it's still a big blow. And he was out of work for some time. I think practically partly to do with his age, because a lot of people know that, the older you are, the more experienced, the more pay you're going to want or whatever. And he didn't really talk about it. It was a case of, I've applied for this job, I've not heard anything. And that was kind of it. It was more factual. And I encourage my dad to talk, because I ask questions. I'm very, as you know from this podcast, I ask a lot of questions because I'm inquisitive and I like to know.
You do?
More information and know and understand people. And my dad was upset by it. It was a big blow to his identity and who he was, and he was out of work for a really long time, but he didn't say anything to anyone. And I don't think he was like depressed or anything, like as in like in a worrying way, but I know his mental health did take a toll as a result.
Terrible words that have just come to mind are, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I heard that a lot over COVID.
It is what it is.
And
I use that quite a lot.
At one point I wanted to have it on a mug, and I just hold it up during Teams meetings and just sit there. But I think that is a general default at times.
What, for men?
Yeah. So when something happens, it is what it is. Let's deal with this now, or this is what we're dealing with.
Yeah, but interesting. Yeah, I understand that, and I agree with that. And obviously there is so much someone can do, but it was just interesting. Like my dad didn't really like openly talk about it. Well, it was a kind of like,
it was,
yeah, it was just like he was plodding along and playing for, but I know it impacted him emotionally and mentally. You've gone from a man that's working, pretty much 7 days a week. He was a bit of a workaholic, to nothing. It wasn't like a phase. It was drastic. And to be obviously the breadwinner of the family as well. Like, yeah, it was a time where I've like seen my dad in a very different light, but it just, it was, your story reminded me that of like, I don't want to worry anyone by telling them how I feel. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting. So that is
interesting. I found it fascinating.
Yeah, okay.
Men are from a different planet. I'm joking. So
the survey.
Yeah. So I love hearing like real data from surveys, but also hearing from people like around me what their experiences are.
And that's one thing I'm very much learning about you, is that you like the data.
Oh, I love data. I think, it just helps back up a thought, an opinion, but also it's always good, I think. By having data about people I work with, I get to understand people around me a bit more, but also it's not a worldly issue, like, oh, it's out there. It doesn't impact me or people around me. By doing a survey in the organization, actually, it is part of my world, because it's affecting, men or women or whatever the topic is, with people with me. And so I sent the survey out, and there was various different questions. And one of the questions was messages about masculinity growing up. So what messages did the men in our organisation grow up hearing? 89% man up.
Yep.
You got that? Growing up?
Probably.
Yeah. So like, what? You just need to man up.
Just got to deal with it, don't you?
Yeah. Okay. 78% boys don't cry.
Yeah, that was definitely a thing.
Did you hear that?
Again, I'm not sure if I did, but there was definitely,
like, not necessarily from parents, but like,
yeah, there was definitely a message that was
okay.
That was around.
67%. Sorry, there's a lot of points, so I'm trying to round it up. 67%. Be tough, fight back.
Yeah. General message was that it was the guys that would stick up for people, and if needed, they would fight back.
Okay. 67% handle problems on your own.
Yep. Well, yeah, indeed.
Got proof of that. 67% men, you need to be the provider as a man.
Yeah.
Provider financially.
Yeah.
Okay. Interestingly, 56% don't talk about your feelings.
Oh, okay.
And that surprised you?
No, not at all.
Oh, you just sounded surprised.
No, not at all. I mean, that was basically.
And I guess it's not necessarily people saying that don't talk about your feelings. I guess it's the subliminal messages.
We don't talk about our fears, because we don't want to be.
You don't ask.
We don't ask, and we also don't know how to communicate that.
Yeah.
But also, we just don't want to be that person.
Yeah.
Burden.
Okay.
And yeah.
And the next one, I think, ties in with quite a few things that we've already heard. Don't show weakness. 45% said that they got those messages growing up.
Well, that's kind of classic. Action hero.
Yeah, don't be weakness. Yeah, men need to be strong. I guess.
Don't let them see you bleed. Don't let them see.
Yeah, I guess like in terms of like what I've seen from men in my life growing up, like them growing up, or what I've seen portray is. And I just want to know like how accurate it is in terms of what I've observed, is if a male was to go to a parent or an adult or another person, maybe the same age, about a problem, the response is, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. Which could be a great
bad thing.
No, but it could be reflect. I think it could be a reflect. I think it depends on the age. I think it depends on the situation. I think I've definitely asked that as a support worker, not in that direct tone, but like, okay, and what thoughts have we got on how we're going to manage that? How we're going to deal with that in a very supportive kind of tone. But I think there is an age where, and situations where it can give the message of, well, what are you going to do about it?
You're on your own.
You're on your own. Like, you should have solved this. Why haven't you solved the problem out yourself? Like, why are you coming to me with, why is this a problem? It should have been solved before it was a problem. Is kind of the messages it's giving. And then I guess talking about feelings is, if your dad or the men around you don't talk about it, you don't talk about it. Okay. So, oh, sorry guys. It's my doorbell. Sorry about that, but my phone was on something.
Anyway.
So the sources of these messages, sorry for that interruption.
Our doorbells.
Yeah. Sources of these messages. Yeah. Doorbells. So the messages that the people responding to the survey got growing up. So what were the sources? So interestingly, I don't think a lot of people knew where these messages came from.
Okay.
Based on just the percentages that I've got,
right,
compared to, based on the, or how many people I know responded. So the highest one at 22% was parents or guardians.
Okay.
22% was media. So that's TV, social media.
I would have said media
Okay.
if I'd remembered to do so, though.
Mixed or mixed sources. So I think that's like mixed. So people saying like more than one
Okay.
area. So it could be parents, TV, friends, other adults.
Okay.
22%. So from all sorts.
Yeah, okay.
Other adults, 11%. Friends or peers, 11%. And nowhere was 11%. So I don't know where they're coming from.
So it just came to them.
Yeah, I don't know. But do you know what I mean? Right? For me as a woman,
All right. I mean,
that is not very can't talk about what it's like to be a man, 'cause not a man. I've never been one.
but actually,
it's quite low, the percentage. Like I thought it'd be like, if you know that these are the messages you got growing up, surely you know where those messages came from, or no? You just
well,
am I wrong?
I think my initial response to the 11% for nowhere. Now I stop and think about it. It could just be, actually, I haven't really thought of it. I haven't really kind of considered where I got it from. It's just, it is what it is, isn't it? Yeah, it's just there.
It's what it is. That needs to be on a mug for you. Yeah.
It's just,
I think so. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Like, yeah, not really thought about it. But I guess I don't know. I just thought, it was great that a lot of higher percentages knew the messages, what the messages were. That so low knew where they came from.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like higher percentage of knowing what those messages are, but little percentage of knowing where they've come from. So it's like, I'm not saying that these people, there's anything wrong with the data. I'm like, if no one knows where these messages coming from, where are they coming from?
Yeah.
Is it society? Yeah. Is it this so like subconscious?
Is it life?
Life. Maybe I should have put life as an option. I just thought that was interesting because maybe that is why we haven't seen the improvement I'm talking about. The vast improvement is because actually those messages still being perceived out there because no one actually knows where they're coming from.
Yeah, and we generally still have that message of, I mean, you've got, what it means to be a man. Has many different ways of kind of looking at that as a question. I'm not the world's most sporty guy, and that could be very much kind of the classic kind of man who kind of goes.
What football? Yeah.
But it does seem that the general kind of consensus is, whatever your interests are, whatever you look like, you deal with it by yourself.
Yeah, it's interesting because Chris, who we work with,
regular guest-ish on the podcast.
Regular guest. He's not appeared once.
He's appeared in the background once.
Yeah. So not a regular guest then. As in a regular mention, because he's a good friend of ours and we work with him. And he's not the most masculine. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if we were to look at stereotypical, masculine, you mentioned sports, imagine, I don't know, a man chopping wood. Don't ask me why. But he's far.
You're a good man.
Yeah, chopping wood. He's far from that in terms of he's not really into sports. He's actually really creative as an individual, like really musical, creative. But yet these are like you said, these are still the messages he received. So it's just regardless of whether you are really masculine, not so, you're still a man. And these are messages they're still receiving. It's interesting because I think, you've got some people that are very feminine as women, not very feminine. And we just looked at the last episode that regardless of where you are on that spectrum of femininity, those messages are still the same.
Yeah.
And for men, regardless of where you are on the masculine scale,
those messages
are the same.
Still the same.
Yeah, it's just interesting. So then, based on kind of don't talk about your feelings and things like that, I asked a question about how comfortable were people at expressing their emotions. And interestingly, we had quite a high percentage for this one, which I'd say, based on the fact that, a lot of people said don't talk about your feelings and handle your own problems. 45% said very comfortable. 45% said somewhat uncomfortable. 11% said neutral, and 0% said they felt uncomfortable. I don't think that's a representation of a wide scale. I don't know whether it's because a lot of the departments we work in, we are supporting young people.
Yeah.
And these are kind of the messages that we're giving to young people, which is, it's okay to cry. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel this.
And a lot of us also have kind of structured, kind of safe places to talk about how we're feeling about
Exactly. We've got clinical supervision.
Yeah.
So I think it's to do with the fact that we work for such a great organisation, that we're offered great supportive resources to talk about those things in a structured way, but also the kind of work we do. I think a lot of us have done our own, and I can speak from my experience, a lot of personal growth because of the training that we've been on, and the work that we do in supporting young people. So are traditional masculine ideas harmful? So we just talked about could you tell me what some traditional masculine ideas might be, like very stereotypical?
Oh, let's go play football whilst drinking, and then go and chop some wood up, and then have a fight. Do I need to go on?
No, that's really helpful. Thank you. So 67% said yes. They are harmful. Traditional masculine ideas are harmful. 23% they were unsure.
Okay.
And 11% said no.
Okay.
You seemed shocked by that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very aware that I could have been, in my answer just then, I could have been a lot more extreme. But it does make me wonder where my head's gone, where other people's head's gone, if that's different locations.
Okay.
Let's be nice, let's be charitable. That's the reason why I'm like, okay.
As a woman, I think yes to this. I think these are, traditional masculine ideas are harmful in terms of I've seen the impact as an outsider observer with men, and I've also so I've just seen the
I guess it does depend on exactly what is meant by traditional masculine, whatever.
Traditional masculinity ideas. So what it means to be a man.
Yeah. So if, for example, people who are answering it are thinking, I must provide for all my family. Actually, on the surface of that, I think that's probably quite a good thing.
I would challenge it.
There is,
in the sense of
exceptions.
There's a pressure.
There's a lot of pressure there.
Yeah. Thank you.
And there's a lot of nuance around. But if you just look at it and go, actually, the traditional idea is I provide for my family. Well, yeah.
I think it's good to provide.
Is that a thing? No. So therefore,
no, I get that. I think it's more nuanced than a lot of that, which maybe, like you said, not a lot of people thought about.
I am being charitable.
Yes, no, I understand that. Yeah. Has views of masculinity changed? Was the next one I asked. 67% said yes. 34% said no.
Okay.
Yeah.
That I personally feel that is ultimately a good thing, because that shows that people are happy to change their minds.
Yeah.
And they're happy to take new information and to learn.
Yeah.
And that is not a bad thing.
No, change is inevitable. So then I was like, oh, well, if you answered yes, what do you think the key influences are on this change?
Okay.
And the most common themes that were mentioned, so it was like, you basically put your own answer in. And the most common themes were life experience. So growing up, experiencing life has meant that their views of masculinity have changed. Fatherhood, so becoming a father and actually, raising your own children has meant, actually, I think this is actually quite harmful because I don't want my child to not cry and come and cry to me and things like that. Relationships, so getting married, having a significant other. We're a Christian organisation, so faith was a big thing that was mentioned. Some people were very honest and said therapy and counselling. And and having different and new male positive role models in their life.
That's ultimately positive.
Yeah. So that was the reasons why they felt their views have changed, or why views may have kind of changed. What are the negative impacts of traditional messages of masculine? So we've talked about kind of like man up, you are the breadwinner, earn everything, your family's outcome and life is on your shoulders. Emotional suppression.
Yeah.
Difficulty with connecting with others, so maybe becoming isolated. A pressure to be tough or independent.
Yeah.
Social exclusion or bullying, if you don't fit with the traditional views. Aggression and violence, and they've a lot of people specifically said, especially in youth.
Okay.
And we got talking about this when we looked at this earlier, and you were a bit confused by this. And I think what a lot of the men that answered this survey have noticed is that more violence in young teen men are on the rise.
Okay.
So we're hearing more men committing awful acts against women. A lot of knife crime. When I was a teenager, I never encountered any teen with a knife.
Okay.
Now it's quite common in certain areas, like even like down in the southwest, not just cities, for that to happen. So I think they were saying like some of these traditional harmful messages that are still out there about what it means to be a man is resulting in younger men being aggressive and violent to the point where it's committing horrific acts.
Yeah.
But also aggression and violence in men in general. Yeah. So I asked what modern or healthy masculinity was to them to describe it. These were the key themes. So emotional openness. So being emotionally open. So I'm assuming that means like, being emotionally available.
Yeah. It's like talking.
Yeah. So like, for example, with Chris, he's a very emotionally available person. He's very open about his emotions. He talks to us.
Yeah.
Is visually quite.
You can see.
Yeah. Whereas traditional messages of men would be kind of like mask, not showing anything. I'm not going to show that I'm struggling. I am confident. I'm strong. Everything's fine.
I'm going to make it obvious through my action.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Kindness and compassion. So actually, healthy being what is a healthy male masculinity is kindness and compassion to others. Having a balance between strength and vulnerability. You can be strong, but also be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Like, I think the traditional one was you're weak if you show vulnerability. Yeah. Respect for others. So, not thinking you're better than, or trying to compete with other people of being like, I need to be the best male. I think with men are encouraged to compete quite a lot with one another, I think, especially like in sports and stuff like that. So respecting others, not having necessarily having to compete with each other, but also respect for other, I guess, genders more so. Being supportive and responsible. So those were the healthy ones. And issues identified, these are the 3 ones that came up, which was lack of positive role models, influence of social media. So for example, toxic figures accessible to all, and confusion about what masculinity should be today.
Well, there you go.
That was what men at YMCA Exeter said when it comes to masculinity.
Yeah, well, there you go. I think we never really talked about how to finish this.
No, we didn't.
So I'm going to maybe kind of end with 2 ideas.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
Things to reiterate. Guys, get yourself checked out. I don't care what it is, but if there's something physically wrong, get yourself checked out. And secondly, if there's something not right, find someone to talk to. Again, don't care who it is. Maybe I do. Find yourself someone sensible to talk to. Andy's Man Club has various groups around the country. They are there very much to give guys a space to chat to connect with other guys. From what I know of it, it's very low pressure. Basically, I think you pass like a football around a group. If you don't want to talk, you pass it on. And then there's other kind of discussion starters later on as well.
And also, like, if this topic, I just want to say, like, if this topic, you've got questions, thoughts, opinions, we'll include in the show notes how you can get in touch. We might do a part 2 of this. We haven't kind of discussed this before on this platform. So it might be, let's do a part 2. This is actually a wider discussion than just one episode. And I think, you know, if how you feel a man should be in the sense of yourself, and you don't feel great about that, or it's not making you feel great, whether that's physically, emotionally, socially, then maybe the view that is being portrayed to you to be, or the view that you think you should be, is just not helpful to you, and to talk to someone about it.
And on that note, thank you for listening and or watching to What's for Tea. You can find us on your favourite podcast provider or on the YMCA Exeter YouTube channel. Till next time, take care.
Bye, guys.